This Hoggy, and welcome to Alone, the podcast where we always live outside normal expectations. And I want to talk today about change. Something we can't, control. Like, there's always going to be change. You know what I'm saying? And in the definition, they say change is to make, different, alter, or modify something or someone. So everything goes through its changes. Even the things like inanimate objects. Think about bricks. If we leave them untouched, they'll eventually start to build like mold and moss and different things. They'll start corroding and stuff like that over time. So there are even changes in things that don't are inanimate. Uh, I like to say anything that alters perspective or direction on the scale from the smallest to the biggest thing, like from what type of water you drink to what religion you choose to follow. You know what I'm saying? There's a scale. There's always going to be changes in all the micro and macro spectrums of life. And the problem with it is our fear of change, our fear of what's on the other side of change. And man, my biggest quote in the world, movie quote, is from Coach Carter, the gym scene.
Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were all meant to shine as children do. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same, as we are liberated from our own fear. Automatically liberated.
Man, that shit hit me hard as hell for real, man. Cause there's a lot of fact in that, man. There's a lot of fact in that. Like, we, like, I think the main fear of change outside of, like, what the poem was saying is our inner circle. Our the people around us. Like, we have built these relationships, and some of them took long, and they were fought for relationships. So it's hard to be like, if I change this, I'm gonna lose this person, and I don't know what I'm gonna get in replace of that person. So, and then like if I'm changing, a lot of times we don't know whether that change is really gonna benefit us or not. We're just taking a chance. Like they say, chances make champions. People that's willing to go outside the box to find a path that may not have ever been written before or may not have been presented to them before. So the fear of how isolated we could end up being, because and that's why I named this Alone, because a lot of times the people with the most stubborn, outrageous thought processes are the ones that are determined to kind of look for their own answers and not just believe everything that's told to them and won't put up with bullshit. They kind of end up with least amount of people. Like, them people are not people who have massive number of friends. A lot of people can't deal with being told, like, I don't like to say told about themselves, because a lot of people know what you're telling them. A lot of people don't like their flaws pointed out to them, just to put it like that. A lot of people can't deal with the criticism that comes with having a person around you that really cares for your growth. You know what I mean? And we get stuck on like old loyalties. Like, because this person is my friend and we've always had this shared opinion, it's because we feel like we've always had to have that opinion. From this point on, unless me and that friend come to a conclusion, because this is the person I've built a trustful relationship with. And like, we can't, like, I understand the mindset behind it. But in the end, you're making your happiness depending on somebody else's happiness. Because now you're deciding that if, in order for you to grow past this point, this person has to be able to go with you so you can keep them around. And if they don't grow with you, then we'll kind of just stay here just to preserve the relationship. And another big one is family. Family, like even like for the people like who grow up and come out of the closet later in life, like I feel how the whole family thing is. Like my family's I could say judgmental family. Like I don't think they mean too much harm by it, but weakness was not tolerated. We had to be strong in my family. That's what they taught, strength. It was about like, hey, life don't give a fuck. So I can't show you that there is a slap on the wrist for everything. You know what I mean? So in my family, like you kind of, I built this kind of like consciousness to all the things that I were doing, so I wouldn't kind of stick out. You know what I mean? And it kind of, into my older days. We'll talk about that later. But family is a big, big one. And you know what I mean? And long change. Another thing is like people during your change, you got to talk to people. There's people out here that's in places that you may want to be, or maybe have to cross this path also to get to where you want to be. So there's people you want to talk to, and it trips me out even with the simple shit like shoes and shit. You ask a motherfucker like, "Damn, that's fresh. Where you get those from?" Oh, you know what I'm saying? Just a store. I'll be out and about. It be out the way. You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you acting like you got secret knowledge? Like this was something you supposed to keep, like Chinese ancient secrets or something. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't never seen a candle go out lighting another candle, my nigga. Like, let me in. If I ask you how you started your business, where you went through, don't try to act like, oh yeah, I had to work to do this and that, do that. Like, hey, help me out. Like, I'm trying to get to where you at, and just because you had to work them steps, don't mean like you make everybody work them steps. Like, if you give out a helping hand, then you will start getting helping hands. You know what I mean? And that's all in the propulsion of change. Because when we have people who's willing to, when you got a person who's willing to kind of give you advice, it helps you believe in your own ideas. It helps you believe in like the journey you're trying to take. Because not only, okay, yeah, you hear the stories about people who went from adversity, made these big turnarounds, and made success. But they didn't. A lot of these people didn't do it alone. No matter how terrible the situation was, there was somebody who pushed them in a direction, gave them some words of advice. I love the story that Steve Harvey says about the guy who called him every morning, and about perspective of how you think about the day and how you wake up and attack each day. You know what I'm saying? Like you gonna conquer, like it's already been conquered. You just had to go out and go through the motions. So, uh, like, it's hard to not fear though. It's hard to not fear the change though, because you're so used to being where you are. Like even people who are down at the bottom, you know what I mean? I said change is gonna happen with or without your consent. At least with your consent, you can have more control of your destiny. I ain't saying like, well, I do believe that in the right mindset, you have complete control over every aspect that happens to your mind. In the right mindset, you can manifest the things that you want, the people you want, the type of environment you want, if you're strong enough to go through the proper changes and channels. But forced change that kind of, like back in the day, me and my dude was in a badass like drunken car accident. Like before that, we was careless, drinking, driving, partying. Like what the fuck? Life is a motherfucker. Hey, whatever. Man, after smacking that fucking wall, I'm talking about. Let me break this down. So, hold on. So me and this nigga partying, waiting on the rest of the party. We trying to kind of light sip before they get there. And we end up in a full blown turn up. The niggas call us like, hey, we switching the spot. We come here. Instead of us being smart, I'm saying like don't drink and drive. We get up, turn up. We in the streets. I'm passenger. And I don't know, even in my drunken state, my mind was telling me like this is not a good idea. And everybody's went through that situation where you got that gut feeling that's telling you like, wait, this is not right. Something's bad's gonna happen. You know what I mean? You shouldn't be in this situation. And I looked for my seatbelt because I wasn't wearing it at first. It was broke. I'm like, damn, okay, fuck it. Next thing you know, blah, we smacked the wall. I'm up, we walking down the street. Crazy as hell situation. We end up at his house the next morning, alive and not fucking badly hurt. But when we got kind of knowledge of how bad the truck was, like the engine was in the carriage with us. It was a center passenger with us, the engine. You know what I mean? Like, dude, in that moment, like I could have been gone. That changed me forever. And I didn't ask for that change. I didn't expect it. But bro, did it change the perspective of how I look at not just drinking and driving, but how I view the life that I have. Like I stopped drinking as much, and at this point in my life, I don't even drink at all. Shit, before I even officially stopped drinking, people used to say, "Oh, you know, Jesse don't really drink." Like that's what they said because I just and we got alcoholics in my family, and I feel like our blood kind of, you know what I'm saying, likes alcohol or more than most people. You know what I mean? So I've turned away from it. So like, yeah, and when you allow that to kind of be the only way that you change, then you only gonna get what life deems you worthy of. Like life only gonna give you what you put in it. So if you kind of carelessly just going through it, it's kind of just like, oh, here's a random card, you can have it. Oh, I have an extra problem that nobody wants, but you don't care, so you can have it. You know what I mean? Um, Another one like kids. Now that could be planned and unplanned. Like for me, it was unplanned. I love my kids, and the change that brought upon them saved my life. I was wild before like kids and smoking. To be honest, smoking weed, I don't do nothing else. Never have. But it just it put on perspective responsibility. Like if I'm out here not caring and something happens to me, who gonna take care of that? Because nobody was here to kind of walk me through it, and it kind of like I couldn't say that I was lost because my mom did her best and she worked hard as fuck to make sure I became the man that I am today. God rest her soul. Believe me, I miss that woman. But um uh, yeah, so but it just changed how I viewed like my place on this earth. Like because I saw how hard it was for my mom, it made me want to make it easier for my baby mom. Even though y'all can, it's a series about that, and it didn't go according to plan. If you want to say none the least, goddamn it. But yeah, man, like, and then like death, like it's inevitable. Like death is inevitable. I have nobody. My aunt, my mom, and my dad is all gone. God is taking them home, and it's really just me. You know what I mean? I'm not close to anyone else. And that's big. That sometimes it even breaks me down, even to this day, to believe that to kind of feel alone like that. To kind of because Mom Dukes, you know, Mom Dukes got your back. You know what I'm saying? She don't care if your spine broke, and hers is halfway broke. She got your back. You know what I mean? So it was scary to kind of know that the change I had to make was to be stronger. Because it was like, Do I have it? Do I have it? That goes back to the fear of it. Like, if if I make these changes, do I have it to push through all the way? Because one thing we hate to have to tell people, we hate to have to tell people we tried something and we failed. Because they want to know, like, oh, what happened? You know what I'm saying? You be like, oh, when you go to school? Shit, it didn't work. What happened, man? You were doing so good. Man, we all thought you was like, that shit breaks you for real. That makes you feel some kind of way. You know what I mean? But, like, the change of losing, like, my mom was the last one to go. So, the change of losing my mom and realizing that it was just me. Like, I had to kind of, like, there was no, like, not even, like, I ain't talking about financial support, like, emotional support. Like, my mom kept it real with me like no other. Like, you know what I'm saying? She was honest with me. Even she called me bitch. Like, quit acting like a bitch. You feel me? Like, when I got in my feelings, which I did, shit. Uh, you know, in the religious world, people like to say that your path is I don't even say religious, spiritual. Some people believe like your path is predestined. Every day has already been planned completely out all the way to the day of your death. So it made me think like, is the thing that you're doing to alter or make changes to better yourself for whatever the reasons, are they changes from change, or is it script? Are you all just do? Are we all just doing? We're playing the script every day. Like, all of this stuff we thinking we're these are our ideas to do are already been written out. Like, oh, I'm gonna change this. Like, oh, you're supposed to change this at this moment. And I don't like to think like that because it makes you unmotivated. And I think that's the whole purpose of the statement. Like, it makes you unmotivated. Because, like, if every moment already planned out, then you don't have to worry about tomorrow. You don't have to worry about the next day. You don't have to worry about even today, because whatever happens is going to happen. And you don't really put any energy into kind of making things happen. You see what I mean? And I feel like life has no script, but it does have an equation. Mind plus body plus soul equals the whole you. And when you break the matrix, and that's when the math starts mathing. When you get outside of like the media's perspective and stereotypes and what you should be based off of what other people's are. Like, I'm 36. It used to a couple years ago. It used to fuck me out to see like 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds with better shit than I did. Had like better like cars, or like they have money and tickets, like. But I don't know what they had to do to get that, or what they was willing to do to get that. Cause I wasn't willing to like step on another motherfucker just to get something. You know what I mean? Because I know we all try to make it. We all try to get somewhere. You know what I mean? So I do believe that it has an equation for all of us, and it's finding it in completion. And it's not about like, oh, as long as I have money and to take care of my family, I'll be all right. No, that if life was about making money, there would have been money made in the beginning of life. You see what I'm saying? Um, if life was about the status that you had in the community, then uh, we wouldn't have been put with the mindset to kind of have our own pathway. We would kind of always just follow like it, which we kind of do. Think about social media and all that. Like, we kind of just follow what the mainstream society or mainstream people want us to do or say we should do. This is normal. This is what average people do. Like, wait a minute. If everybody here is supposed to be their own unique person, how is there ever a fucking average? How is there ever a norm? Norm is to the beholder. Like, if I get up every day and walk on my head to get my breakfast, to y'all that would be weird. Like, what the fuck are you doing that for? But to me, it's normal. See what I'm saying? Like, we need to stop making, just because a lot of people like something, shouldn't force the hand of the other people that don't choose to like it. You know what I mean? And like you have to be in line with yourself. Soul is not just about like finding your 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 pathway to in to the maker. It's about finding that peace in yourself. Because once you love yourself, everything around you falls in love with you. And that's where I'm trying. I'm still working to get to. I'm falling in love with myself more and more from the changes that I've made. Like back a couple years ago, I got in a relationship after my mom died, thinking that I was filling a void that I realized I didn't need to feel. But I stuffed this relationship in there, and it started getting tumultuous. I'm talking about every day arguing about dumb shit. She bumping me, bumping, passing me. I even came home, tried another nigga in the house. Like I'm like, wait a minute, wild out. Like I don't know how I'm going through this. So instead of feeding into that forced change that the relationship was trying to get me out of my zone, take me to a place where like I came out of. Like I didn't want to go back. That was the 19, 20-year old me, the wild out. Like I tear up everything in this bitch. You know what I mean? So I started going to the gym. I'm talking about big going to the gym every day, hitting mad iron, getting mad money in the gym, and my stress started going down. Like, and I didn't even do it to kind of like that wasn't the main reason for the change of like going to the gym. It was like, look, I need somewhere to put this frustration. I'm not gonna hit no woman. It's not gonna happen. I'm never gonna physically attack a woman. It's like I'll probably be the easiest murder for a woman because I can't do it. I can't do it. But so I had somewhere to put the stress. But in that process of diffusing my stress, I infuse myself with life at the same time. Like like I started off in the gym doing girl push-ups in front of grown men because I was an athlete, but shit, since I graduated, what did I need to be an athlete for? So I wasn't doing shit. I hadn't even been out to play basketball in years, you know what I'm saying? So I had lost a lot. Thinking you know what I'm saying? I was a beast back in the day, thinking I just retained it, often just sitting around eating snacks and not eating healthy. You know what I mean? So it put in perspective of where I really was. Like the gym will let you know where you at. You know what I'm saying? And it let me know like all that tough, like I'm strong, I'm ready for this and this and that. Like it taught me about not just the strength in the gym, but the strength outside of the gym. Like I tell people in the gym, I'm working out, and they get to that tough set, they get to that rep, that struggle, and they like grab it, and then they just let go. It's like wait a motherfucking minute. Like I'm here to help you, not get you out of this situation. Now we in the weights. Now I'm not gonna let you die. I'm not. But you gonna fight. I'm gonna help you, but you gotta fight. Life gonna get on you. It's going to. It's not no way to dodge it. You can't weave it. You can't hide from it. It's gonna weigh on you. What you gonna do? You gonna get that shit up off your chest, or you gonna let it crush you? Cause you got help, even if you don't know it. You got people that's looking out. Even the enemies make sure you come help you out to make sure they can have something to say that you know they can hear. Like, oh, I had to get that nigga, had to get that weight up off that nigga, weak as hell. That nigga weak as hell. Had to get that weight up off that nigga, even though he sat there and fought with it for all that time. You know what I mean? So you got help even when it's negative. Shit. So be willing to put that fight in. So that's what the gym taught me. It taught me about what real strength is. It wasn't about how much pounds you putting up in the gym. It ain't about how many push-ups you willing to do. Cause I know a lot of niggas in the gym that go through push-ups and shit like that and go through a life struggle and collapse. Straight collapse. Like one body shot from life and it's over for them. It don't matter how many weights you lift when you don't have the strength to push on in life. And that's what it taught me. Like, we have to push past these walls, these barriers. And shout out to Boss Fitted because he started a challenge and it pushed a change that I've been trying to change in a long time. I started smoking when I was 20. Weed and tobacco. Started smoking. And I've been trying to get off tobacco for the longest. Man, I've been trying for the longest. Man, I did that challenge and it changed that. Now I'm in the second challenge and now I'm cutting down sugars like, and every time I make these changes, it's scary. It's hard. I envision how hard it is before actually even taking a step to kind of fulfill these goals that I'm trying to get to. And it has also improved my goals. Now I'm actually having goals. Now that I'm making the changes that have given me confidence in myself to be better, I want to be the best version of a hog that I can be. And if that calls for people to not fuck with me, so be it. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to benefit the community better by being the best person that I can be. So I want y'all to understand that, like, it does. You have to add it all together. Like, it ain't just like it's not. It ain't just a strength of body. It ain't just a strength of mind of being smart and just knowing knowledge. Knowing knowledge, just knowing stuff is not really the basis of mental like reasoning. Like, it's to understand you and where your place. Like in basketball, there's role players. Everybody has their role, and the more you are accepting what that role may be, and doing the things that need to be done to make you the best at that, regardless of the negativity you might come, the rewards are so much greater. The rewards behind that is greater. And we talking about change. We talk about all of this stuff that happens to you and things that you can do to kind of change. But how do you know, like, when change is needed? How do you know how to change? And I think real change, starts with awareness. Like, if you can tell yourself like this is an issue, or damn I fucked up, or like they always say, like the first step to recovery is admittance. You know what I mean? So when you can first start admitting to yourself that, like, hey, I may be a problem, or there may be something wrong with my process, my thought process, my thinking, and start asking yourself the whys. I mean, that's when the wheels really start turning, and you really start seeing like different perspectives than you're used to. Uh huh. And then once you start taking these perspectives and looking at them, like, I've always been told I have an ability to kind of see things from all angles. Like, I can see my influence on the situation, so I'm easily the type to kind of be like, look, I know my bad, I fucked up, and I know why I fucked up. Like, for example, I usually have problems with arguments in relationships, and I'm a cool dude, so for the most part, I'm not just arguing with everybody, but in relationships with women, I seem to argue more, and it's not like a weakness. Like, I'm not trying to overpower the woman in that sense. It's just a fierceful, like, trying to get my point across, and I'll go to the nines with a female that I'm with, at least because I want her to understand me. And it made me think about why. Like, because I'm not going to get violent with this girl. And 9 times out of 10, what we're talking about is not necessarily going to break us up. So why do I allow myself to reach these limits of anger? And as I think and I think and I realize, like, I love my mom. I love my mom, but she was aggressive. And her opinion was last. Like, you really didn't have one. Once she made up her mind on an opinion on how she felt about something, that was it. How she felt about even something you did. I remember she slapped the shit out of me because she told me I lost $1 on purpose. There was nothing I could have convinced her to tell her that that was gonna work. Cause in her mind, that was it. So now I realize that because she was my mom, I had to give her that power. That was my mom. That was my dude, and that was all I had. This was after my dad had died and this and that. So when I get in relationships with women, when I feel like I'm being put in that place of not being allowed to have that opinion, I'll flare up like my temperature goes straight to the max because it's like, wait, you're not my mom. You don't get that same respect or overpowerment of me. Like I'm not gonna cower in spite of like who because you're not my mom. Like so, no, you're gonna hear me. I couldn't do this with my mom. She people know my mom. She would fuck you up. My mom fuck you up. At least try to. She didn't give a fuck how old she was or how old you was. You get fucked up. So yeah, now that when I'm in relationships, I refuse to be put in that position or be put in that emotional state. So I'm ready to fight. But now, because I know this is the case, I allow women to kind of, okay, you said what you said. I understand that. I'm going to try to understand me. And if we can't come to a place where you're allowing me to have that space to talk and emotionally release myself so you can feel where I'm coming from, then we're not going to build anywhere because you don't want a person that you can grow with. You want a ready partner that knows everything to do for you. And I speak a lot about everybody has come up in their past totally different. They have their own path. Like people, women ask other women, how do you see a relationship when a nigga beating your ass? Maybe that's how they saw relationships. You know what I mean? But accountability and awareness. Call yourself out, man. Stop being scared to kind of tell yourself that you was wrong or you might be a fucked up person. I got friends who used to hit on women, but they knew that what they were doing was wrong and that it was because of their temperament. And they have made the changes. You know what I'm saying? I know my mom had a friend who had a daughter who was married to a man who beat her for years. And now, if you saw them now, you would be saying she's blessed to have the man she has. And she'd tell you, you wouldn't know what I had to go through to get this man to be, you know what I'm saying, to get to this state. So, like, said, everybody can change, man. Everybody can change. Like, sometimes some people have to be smacked in the neck, in the back of the head to change. Some people need that forced change. They won't see it until it's forced on them, like tragedy happens. And I've always told myself I didn't want tragedy to decide whether I appreciate life. I always wanted to appreciate it, even as a kid. I didn't want the flashy things because I wanted life to be appreciated by who I was in it and what I had to offer, knowledge wise, physically, you know what I'm saying, spiritually, because I was always open to helping people and being there for people. And um, that's another thing about fear of change. Like people are dependent on a lot of people. Definitely not that it's, the dependency of people is kind of high. Niggas depend on bitches, living with them. They live in situations. They driving their cars. Bitches living with niggas because well, that kind of more fits because niggas taking care of bitches. Like they get with the nigga that's gonna take care of them. So they dependent on that man to be that provider. You know what I mean? And uh and that becomes a problem because then like how do you change and maintain the things you're dependent on? Because some of them things like if you change, you lose. Um, like a girl. Like if a dude know a girl like put out, like it's hard for her to kind of like just be out in the world and say like I want a wholesome man and I'm holding out because that everybody looking at her like you're the thought. Like why are you acting like this? Like why are you being so unusual? Like but you're allowed to make that change. Like no matter who you are, no matter what you've been through, you're entitled to make that change that betters you. Because when you make the decisions based off of what other people are going to think, what other people are going to say, whose life are you living? Whose life is it? Because if I always did the things in order to make sure you were happy or this person didn't feel some kind of way, then I only gonna get what you allow me to have, what you say that okay, like this is cool, or I'm just gonna be stuck with you, not going anywhere. And as if we really, like I tell my friends, if we friends, if we love each other and we want the best, I should be able to tell you you fucking up, or I should be able to tell you that you ain't holding up with the type of person I know you to be. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, it starts with accountability. It starts with awareness, and you have to do the shadow work. I talked about the relationship thing with my mom because you have to dig deep. That was something I had to, like I grew up that way. So in my mind, this is just life. But to put in perspective how the things that you have experienced growing up affects your mental. Like think about the mouse theory. I love it. The mouse theory. Why the fuck are so many people scared of mice? Huh? Even me. I was scared of mice. Tough man, played football, all this shit. I was scared to death of mice. Still got a problem with rats because they a little bigger, but that's fuck that. Why are we scared of mice? I have never seen a mouse attack anybody. I'm talking about at all. I've never seen a mouse come. I never seen mice in swarms attack them. I've never heard a newscast about mice attacking people. I've never read a newspaper. See, like I've seen people get bit by rats, or had a pet mouse and got bit or something, or caught one in a trap and got bit. But that motherfucker didn't attack him. That motherfucker was defending himself. So like, once I realized that my fear of mice was invalid, I refuse to have that feeling now. So if I see a mouse, I hunt you down. You're not allowed to be here. You're not allowed to be here. You're a rodent. You get out in the streets, in the sewers, in the field. If you're feeling mice, there's plenty of food out there. You could dig deep enough to get warm. Goddamn it, come in here. So when I see him, I hunt them bitches down. Ain't no more. Ah, fear. Oh no, mouse. Oh shit, where did it go? No, let's find it because the fear is invalid. Just like the monkey, the monkeys in the ladder theory, the experiment. So you got five monkeys. You put a ladder in five monkeys in a room with a ladder, and at the top of the ladder there's bananas. So the monkey goes up, when he grabs the bananas, it rains down on all the other monkeys, like pours down on all the other monkeys. So when he comes down, the other monkeys is mad. So they pull him down and mad. So the next monkey goes up there and he does it, and it rains down again. So the next monkey tried it, and they beat the shit out of this monkey. Like, hey, every time y'all go up there, something bad happened to us. And you keep seeing this, but y'all keep going up there sacrificing us. So they start beating the shit out of the monkeys every time a monkey tried to go up the ladder because they knew what was happening to them. And y'all dumbasses seen it too, and you still gonna go up there. So they would remove a monkey and put another monkey in there. Now this monkey is oblivious to the situation and sees the bananas, tries to go up there. Now this monkey may get up there, may not. He get up there, the rain comes, he gets his ass whooped. And now he's like, damn, okay, we can't go up the thing. And now he learns fast because it's his first experience. He just got there. The monkey tell him like, no, this I should have caught you beforehand, but fuck, don't do that. They take another old monkey out, put another new monkey in there. Now this monkey doesn't even get a chance to try. As soon as he thinks about going to get the monkey, they beat the shit out of him. As soon as he thinks about a banana, they beat the shit out of him. Like, look, you can't go up there. Fuck that. Like, it's gonna rain on us. Then they do this with the last two monkeys. They take them out and put two new monkeys. Now they beating the shit out of monkeys for going up, trying to go up the ladder to get the thing because it's gonna rain. But none of the monkeys in the room now have ever been rained on. But they're still reacting based off of how the experience that they experienced from the other monkeys when they got there. See what I'm saying? Like, so at some point, you become the person who's never actually experienced the negativity that you hear, but because you've always heard it, it's what you believe. You know what I mean? it's crazy, and you have to really dig deep. I'm talking about shadow work, man. I love it. Shadow work really like opens your eyes to why. That's it. Shadow work opens your eyes to why. Why do I approach this situation this way? Why do I allow people in this situation? Like me, I kind of have always given people I declare friends leeway on a lot of stuff because I feel like that's what I'm supposed to do as friends. And because like nobody really took to me, I'm like the black sheep of my family. I got picked on in elementary school. Like I just people didn't take to me. I felt like if I did anything outside of what they liked, I would just be by myself. You know what I mean? Because it was already hard for me to not make friends. But I kind of uh, you know what I'm saying? I kind of started understanding that now that I have allowed a lot of things because I fear of being abandoned, I guess you could say. Because I've always kind of felt by myself, and with my friends I didn't, and then I'm afraid to go back to feeling by myself. I was. Now I'm in a place where um, I don't know, like I'm okay with everything. Like if who I become is not what the people around me like, then as long as it's for the betterment of me, I'm kind of okay with that. Like I love my peoples, I love my circle to death. Like best believe, even if we never talked again, you couldn't come to me and tell no dirt on them. We gotta get that smoke. Period. Even if we beefing, you can't beef with him. Nigga, me and one of them niggas can be arguing. You get to argue with that nigga, we beat your ass. Because them will always be my brothers. But we all gotta live our life. You know what I mean? I'm not saying we beefing or nothing, but I'm just saying in retrospect, like we all gotta live our lives. Your friends are if they're gonna be your friends, they're gonna be your friends. Your lives not might not be induced as like being together around each other, but shit, y'all always gonna be ride or die. You know what I'm saying? Um, like back to shadow work. Like another one for me was like I kind of never asked people for anything. Like, and as a adult, people are like, "Oh, your birthday coming up. What you gonna do? What you want?" I'm like, "I don't know shit. It don't really matter." I think it's because growing up, after thinking about it, growing up, nobody really made it a big deal for me. You know what I mean? Like my birthday was kind of like President's Day. Like it was a day, but it really wasn't a day people really cared if they made sure they celebrated. So I never expected much. I didn't get much for Christmas or birthdays. So I never expected much, and I never wanted to put that type of expectations on that person. Like, so if I ask a person for something, I don't want to anticipate that that's gonna come back because I'm not used to it being true. Like my mom did her best, but like I was the person like that people kind of forgot about, and it took me a while to thinking to realize that that's what it was. Like that's kind of why I don't ask people for things, even for like help in my situation. Like I'm raising a kid, I don't got no benefits and shit like that, and I still try to just struggle and work 7 days a weekend. You know what I'm saying? Give all the rides, and because I've had a lot of situations where people have made me feel like I've either run out my welcome or like, it's just a lot. It's a burden on their life. So I don't never like to put people in that situation. So I don't expect much from people. And another big one for me is that I don't believe love. I know I believe in love, but I don't like. It's hard for me to like when people say they love me. It's hard for me to kind of give that 100% like stamp of approval because I always kind of felt like I was only lovable whether I was worth something or not. You know what I mean? If I was worth something to you, then I would love them. Like at least to a lot of my friends, it was because of the stuff that I could do. I work on cars, like I would fix stuff. I'm willing to fight with you and shit like that. I made being my friend easy. You know what I mean? Um, so allow yourself in the process of doing this shadow work. Allow yourself the emotions, and I'm saying this to the men mainly because we always got to keep this kind of like vibrato, this state of like mind of like tough guyish, and tough guyish, and man, we got emotions. We got the same emotions as female, all of them: anger, sadness, depression, insecurities. Like we have all the emotions. So how can we not be allowed to express them? And we have to find a release. Everybody, we have to find a way to get those thoughts, those stressors out. And there's a lot of ways. Some people uh, write diaries, talking to themselves about the experiences of the day. Some people write songs. Like that's one of mine. Like I write raps, but I don't. You won't find a lot out here. My rap name is J5, but I don't do it to kind of get attention. I do it to kind of release my mind, to kind of put myself in a state of mind of calmness, of realizing like, okay, I'm better than what this situation is right now. I'm better than that opinion at that moment. Because I had to hear it from baby moms, from grandparents, from everywhere. And everybody does. And there's not no place or no situation in your life that you're going to go where all negativity is going to stop. So you have to have a release. You have to be able to get this shit out of your head. Get it out of your mind. You know what I mean? Because if you pressure bust pipes, so if you allow that pressure to build up, eventually you going to explode. You know what I mean? And believe this: not everything that you come up with in the shadow work or in kind of working on yourself, it's gonna have an answer. It's gonna have a clear answer. It's not like, and when I say answer, I mean a way to dissolve it. Because like a fear, once we recognize the fear, we then have to overcome the fear. In shadow work, there will be situations where you realize like this thing is, I'm going to have to solve this more within myself. There's no answer I'm going to be able to go out. Like I can ask my entire family why I'm the black sheep. What I really, would they even understand why I'm the black sheep? Because it's all, everything is in perspective. You know what I mean? Or why I feel I was a black sheep. You know what I mean? So like that's not something, I'm not gonna go out on my fingers like, why did you not do this, or why did you treat me like this, or why did I have to be this, or why did you leave me, like why would I do that? Because a lot of times they got it's their own shadow work that may be the answer for those questions. You know what I mean? And a lot of them questions they don't even know are questions to be answered. A lot of people don't know that the questions that will bring the shadow work are even questions to ask. So they don't never really answer them. You know what I mean? So you have to realize that everything that you feel like hurt you, everything you feel like made you negative or made you insecure, is not gonna come with a boss to defeat, if that makes a sense to any of my gamers, or a level to conquer. Like they're all not gonna come with like an AA, like go back and say sorry to all the people you wrong. Like life really not doesn't owe you that. You owe yourself the the headspace to forgive, like to forgive, like how it turned out. Because people are only the best version of what they want to be. You understand what I mean? Whether negative or bad. Like when you like to show masterminds, these criminals that kind of did these crimes and went through all these extremes to get them done. Like that was the best version of what they wanted to be. Now how they got there is a whole how they experience life. Uh, Moving forward, getting to a point where like there is no getting to a point. Like that it's so there is no card to receive that says like you have now had your insecurity badge or you now have conquered your childhood badge or this is your getting over your fears badge because you're constantly going to be working on these things. This is not something you can win. This only something you can do good at. You can get better at. That's it. There is no winning. I guess you could say winning is finding your ultimate purpose in life and completing it. And I think that's sometimes when people kind of, that's when the Lord kind of takes you, when your job has been done. And that's a whole nother question. We're not talking about that. We're talking about change. So moving forward, um, just allow yourself to experience stuff like, and really be honest about the thing that you want. That is like, that can be the biggest thing to a lot of people, be honest with what you want. Let me give you an example when it comes to relationships. Now, I go to the gym every morning. Now, if I get with a girl and I tell her, like, and I'm like giving her every day, every morning, and I know this is not how I want a relationship to run, or even if I want a relationship out of this situation. And but I allow it to kind of just run its little course. So when I try to get back to what I usually do, try to get back to going to the gym every day and stuff like that, it starts to look funny. And females says like, "Oh, you've been acting different. You didn't even call me this morning." I was like, "Well, I text you good morning, but then I got to my workout." And I'll be here, but well, oh, why you going there every morning now? And you be there for like 2, 3 hours. Well, before I met you, remember I talked to you and told you that this is what I did. See, if I would have been honest with her from the beginning and just did, and honestly, it's not just a talking thing. Like, and don't get me wrong. Like what you say is big. Like you only have your word, but your actions complete the equation of honesty. Like, do it. You know what I mean? Be honest with yourself and then do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I tell a woman like I usually go to the gym every morning, I'm going to continue to go to the gym every morning to show her like this is me. This is who the person you got. Like when a woman gets with a doctor and gets mad that he goes to work all the time, like, did you not know what doctors do before now? You know what I mean? So be honest with yourself about what you want. And that's both sides. Even for the person like getting in a situation, if you're with somebody and you're not secure and they go to the gym every morning and you know at some point that's gonna bother you. Don't think that your pussy or your dick is gonna get that person to stop doing what they love to do. Just to soothe your ego or you know what I'm saying, so you don't feel some kind of way. It's not. It's gonna actually build resentment that you stopped them from doing something they love, something that gave them the type of personality that you were attracted to. Like because that person, or because I'm going to the gym, I am the happy smile person that you see. Now, if I start going to the gym, what type of person you gonna start to get? And I'll start getting frustrated, and I'm not more even more tired because I'm not going out there getting that work. You know what I mean? So be honest on both ends. If this is not something you know you're not going to be able to deal with, be honest from the beginning. Don't say like, "Damn, he's still fine," or damn, she bad as hell." So that's not no, because at the end of the day, it's not how bad she is. It's not how good the sex is. It's how happy at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Happiness. So going forward, like be honest with like if I don't want a ratchet girl, I can't go get a ratchet girl and tell her not to be ratchet because I don't want a ratchet girl. No. I have to stop looking at in a ratchet bucket for an angel. You know what I mean? Like, so, like, don't be a nigga searching for a dime either. Shout out to Life Jennings. But anyway, yeah. So allow yourself the emotions. Release that shit. Find a way. Especially men, stop trying to act having these facades of being all motherfucking shit. Nothing bother me. Yeah, dude. Bother all of us, man. We all get sad. We all get depressed. We all get nervous. We all get scared. It's part of everybody. Um, every equation ain't gonna have a direct answer. Sometimes you just gonna have to find inner peace with whatever you find. Because at the end of the day, that's what you're doing the shadow work to find that inner peace. And the more you find of that, man, it makes it easier to take the steps to be the best person you want to be. And it helps open your eyes to who exactly that person is. And when you can take away that fear of everybody's judgment, it allows you to find out who you really are. Because now you're making decisions that literally are based off what makes you happy. Uh, Change is gonna happen to everybody. So when people say like a person's never gonna change, it's not true. A person chooses to be who they are in the moment of life that they're in. So if that you say that person hasn't changed, he hasn't changed this aspect that you noticed before, but there's been other changes. Even maybe his perspective on the things that he even do. It may have been something that happened that makes him even want to do it further, harder. Like pimping or cheating on bitches. He might have found a girl, gave his heart, and got hurt again. Now he on it back harder, like a relapsed crackhead. You know what I mean? So, but we all gonna go through change, man. Stop being scared of letting your light shine. Stop being scared of leaving people behind. Because the people that's supposed to be around will be around. The people that deserve to be around will be around. You know what I mean? So change for you. Don't allow everything else to be the reason for your change. Change for you. That's where your happiness gonna find. And just like the podcast, you may be alone, but always remember to always live outside normal expectations. And this is Hawkey, and we out.